You betrayed me behind my back, and now I'm done being kind. This is where my revenge begins.
My wife left me with 30 grand of debt and vanished with her boyfriend. 3 days later, she called me in panic. That's not the kind of sentence you ever think will belong to your life. It sounds like the start of some crazy YouTube story, right? But that was literally my Tuesday night. The call came at 2:14 a.m. I remember the exact time because I was staring at the glowing red digits on my microwave, trying to convince myself that instant noodles counted as dinner and not a cry for help. The apartment was silent, except for the buzz of the fridge and my own thoughts chewing me alive. My phone lit up on the table. Unknown number. Normally, I ignore those at 2 a.m. If it's important, they'll text. But something about that moment, the way the silence suddenly felt heavier, like the room itself was holding its breath. I swiped. Hello. At first I heard nothing, just a messy mix of traffic, wind, and that shaky, shallow breathing someone has when they're trying not to fall apart. Then I heard her. Jason? My chest did the stupid automatic tightening thing. Months of fights, slammed doors, and the final nuclear meltdown couldn't erase the reflex that recognized her voice in half a second. Ashley, I said, and I swear her name tasted like battery acid in my mouth. You have some nerve calling me. She didn't argue, didn't throw back one of her usual lines. You're so dramatic, stop acting like a victim. If you were enough, I wouldn't need more. None of that. Instead, she whispered, I don't have anyone else. For a second, I almost laughed. She'd gone off with her shiny new soulmate, that ripped gym hero named Tyler, like she just won the lottery and I was the consolation prize she never wanted. No one else, huh? You disappeared. I reminded her, my voice low. You cleaned out our account, took the car, and somehow managed to sign my name on enough papers to drown me in $30,000 of debt. So forgive me if I don't exactly feel like your emergency hotline. Jason, please, she breathed. I heard something in the background. A door slamming, raised voices, sirens in the distance. Couldn't tell. This is serious. Like you have no idea serious. I pressed my thumb into the edge of the table just to ground myself. The last time I saw her in person was 3 days earlier, and that memory still burned. She'd stood in the doorway holding a suitcase, looking annoyingly perfect. Messy blonde hair thrown up like she just rolled out of someone else's bed. Oversized hoodie over bare legs, no shame in her eyes. She wasn't crying. She wasn't apologizing. She was bored. I can't do this anymore, she'd said. You and your budget spreadsheets and your boring loyal routine. I need to feel alive, Jason. Translation. She'd found someone new to use. I thought that was the worst part, watching my wife walk out with a suitcase and a smirk. I was wrong. The real gut punch came an hour later when the bank called. Mr. Carter, we're confirming the new credit line and consolidation loan for $30,000 under your name. I remember every word. The way my hand went cold around the phone. The way my brain tried to convince me it was a mistake. But the signatures were mine. The email used my address. The documentation had our joint details. She'd been planning this, quietly, carefully, like a surgeon cutting out the part of her life she didn't want anymore and leaving the mess behind on the operating table. Me, back in my tiny kitchen, I swallowed, dragging myself out of the memory. What do you want, Ashley? I asked. Money? Because you took that too. It's not about money, she said quickly. Her voice cracked just a little. I messed up. I really messed up. I almost clapped. Wow, progress. We're finally using I statements. Jason, will you shut up and listen for once? She snapped, and there she was. The Ashley I knew. The one who could burn a room down with her tone alone. Even scared, she still defaulted to treating me like an inconvenience. That actually helped. Anger was easier than the raw ache underneath. Fine, I said.
I'm listening.
There was a pause. I heard her inhale sharply, like she was bracing herself. Tyler's gone, she said. I stared at the cracked tile on my kitchen floor. Gone where? Spa day? Another girl's bed? Into the arms of a better victim? Be specific. Jason, I'm serious. Now the panic was fully there, like a wire pulled too tight. Something went wrong. He's in trouble. I'm in trouble. And if they don't find me, they're going to come looking for you. I felt the room tilt, just a little. Who is they? I asked. She didn't answer that. Instead, she dropped a line that made every hair on my arms stand up. Do you remember those forms I had you sign a few months ago? She whispered. The ones I said were just for refinancing? My stomach clenched. Yeah, the same ones that turned into 30 grand of debt in my name. It's not just the bank, she said. It's not normal people, Jason. Tyler owed some very bad guys a lot of money. He used your name, my name, our address. They think you're involved. They think you know where he is. Silence hung between us, thick and electric. There it was, the sudden twist my life apparently needed. I thought Ashley had already done the worst she could do. Betrayal, humiliation, financial ruin. Turns out, she'd gone for the deluxe package. You're telling me, I said slowly, that your muscle-bound Prince Charming dragged us into something criminal, and he did it using my identity? I didn't know, she insisted. I swear, Jason, I didn't. I laughed, short and bitter. You never know, Ashley. You just float above the mess until someone else has to mop it up. Can you just… Her voice broke again. This time it didn't sound calculated. Sounded raw. Can you just help me, please?
I'm scared.
They're asking questions. They know your name. They know where you work. If they don't find Tyler, they're gonna come after the people connected to him. That means you. That means me. I walked to the window and pulled the curtain back. The street outside was calm. A single car rolled past. My neighbor's porch light flicked off. Nothing looked different, but my world had quietly shifted on its axis. My life was already on fire because of you, I said. Now you're telling me the fire has a name and a gun? I'm hiding, she whispered, in a motel outside town. Room 27. Please, just come. I'll explain everything. I can't do this alone. I should have said no. Any sane person would have hung up, blocked the number, and called a lawyer, maybe even the police. But here's the ugly truth. When you've loved someone long enough, even their worst version still has a hook in you. I stared at my reflection in the dark window. Tired eyes, unshaven jaw, guy who thought he was boring but safe. A guy who suddenly realized his boring life might be about to get very, very dangerous. Text me the address, I said quietly. As soon as the words left my mouth, I knew everything was about to change again. And not in the way Ashley used to promise when she said, "Trust me, it'll be fun." This time, fun was officially off the menu. Whatever waited in room 27 felt a lot more like the beginning of the real story. The motel Ashley sent me to wasn't the kind of place people visited voluntarily, unless they were hiding, cheating, or waiting for a drug deal that would never go as planned. The sign flickered like it was dying, buzzing in the cold night air. Half the parking lot lights were out, and the other half made everything look like a crime scene. Perfect atmosphere for the mess my life had turned into. I parked beside a rusted pickup that looked like it had been abandoned since the Bush administration. My hands were sweating on the steering wheel, but not because of Ashley. I wish it were that simple. This was something else. Something I could feel crawling under my skin, an instinctive warning I couldn't explain. Room 27 was at the far end, next to a broken ice machine. The door was slightly ajar, light spilling into the walkway. She was inside. I pushed the door open slowly. Ashley looked like a ghost of the woman I once knew, but not in the poetic, tragic way. Her mascara was smudged like she'd used her sleeve instead of a makeup wipe. Her blonde hair tangled, hoodie wrinkled, her eyes wide and frantic. She wasn't glamorous or seductive now. She was terrified. When her gaze landed on me, she didn't run into my arms. She didn't apologize. She didn't even seem relieved. She looked guilty. "Close the door," she whispered. I did, and immediately regretted it. The room smelled like cheap disinfectant trying and failing to hide cigarettes and stress. A duffel bag sat open on the bed, stuffed with clothes she clearly jammed inside without folding. Her phone was face down on the table, screen still lit, messages stacked like dominoes. Where are you? Don't make this worse. We need Tyler. Last chance. My pulse jumped. Who are they? I asked. Ashley sank onto the edge of the bed, her legs bouncing uncontrollably. People Tyler owed money to. He promised them a return on some opportunity. Something about imported equipment, a warehouse, quick profits. I didn't understand the details, I swear. That's your problem, I said, keeping my voice steady. You never understand anything until it blows up. She glared at me. Even terrified, she couldn't resist being cruel. You always think you're so perfect, so moral, so predictable. That's why I left you, Jason. You're safe, and safe is boring. Safe, boring. Funny how the insults she threw at me were the exact qualities she now depended on for survival. You forged my signature, I said. Not boring. Pretty damn criminal. Her lips tightened. Tyler told me it was temporary. He said once the deal went through, we'd be able to pay everything off. He promised me a different life. And you believed him. Of course I did, she snapped. He made me feel alive. Not like you. You make people feel trapped. It was insane how she still tried to justify herself, even as her world collapsed. Ashley wasn't apologizing. She was annoyed I hadn't applauded her genius. So where is your knight? I asked. Where's Tyler? That was the first time she actually looked broken. He disappeared, she whispered. He ran. Took money that wasn't his. They think we know where he went. They think we're hiding something. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Let me guess. They don't like loose ends. She nodded, her fingers shaking. They're watching. They know your name, Jason. Your address. Your job. They know you're connected. And they don't believe I left you. They think you're part of this. A cold, metallic fear slid through my veins. My quiet, boring life wasn't just over. It was declared collateral damage in a game I didn't know existed. So what do we do? I asked. Ashley looked up, hope flickering like a faulty bulb. We find Tyler. I blinked. Are you out of your mind? He's the only one who can fix this, she insisted. If we find him, give them what they want. Maybe they'll leave us alone. That word tasted worse than her name. But before I could reply, 3 sharp knocks rattled the door. Ashley froze. My blood iced. Is that? She whispered. The knocks came again, harder. Room 27. Open up. The voice wasn't angry. It was calm. And that was much, much worse. Ashley mouthed one word. Run. I didn't think. My body moved before my brain caught up. Ashley shoved me toward the bathroom, her hands cold and trembling. I slipped inside, closing the flimsy door just as the motel's main door creaked open. There was no lock on my side. Of course there wasn't. Nothing in this place was built to keep danger out. I pressed my back against the wall, breath shallow, listening. Ashley Morgan? A male voice asked. Calm, deep, not rushed. The kind of voice that didn't need to shout because power already lived inside it. Ashley answered, but her voice was thin, pulled tight like a violin string. Who are you? You know who we are. No emotion, just fact. I could almost hear her swallow. Tyler isn't here. A pause. I swear the silence grew teeth. We know, the man said. Which is why we're here for you. My hands curled into fists. I didn't care what Ashley had done to me. No one deserved to sound that terrified. I leaned closer to the wall, waiting for a signal, a sound, something to tell me what was happening. Then footsteps, slow, deliberate, moving farther inside the room. Another voice spoke, this one younger, raspier. He's not here either. He? My pulse hammered. They were looking for me. The first voice again. You've been busy, Ashley. Loans, IDs, contracts, and all using the same name, Jason Carter. That's quite an attachment to your ex-husband. Ex-husband? That word punched my lungs. She'd filed paperwork behind my back? Ashley responded with shaky breath. We're not together anymore. The man chuckled. It wasn't friendly. Then why do you keep dragging him into your business? That's when Ashley snapped, just like she always did when cornered. Maybe if he wasn't so pathetic, I wouldn't need someone who actually knows how to handle life. The venom hit like a slap. Even hiding behind a bathroom door, her words found me. She always knew where to cut deepest. Pain flared, not because she was right, but because once I tried so hard to be enough for her. The older man sighed. We don't care about your emotional failures. We care about money. Tyler stole from us. You helped him. Jason's name is attached. That makes him our problem. I felt my throat tighten. My problem had a price tag now. Ashley's voice cracked. I can help you. I'll tell you everything I know. The younger one laughed. We don't need stories. We need Tyler or compensation. Compensation. My name had a dollar sign attached. The 30,000 wasn't just financial damage anymore. It was leverage in a world with rules I didn't understand. The man stepped closer. I could tell by the shift in floorboards. Ashley, you're going to take a ride with us. No, no, I can help you from here. He cut her off. We didn't ask. Her breathing escalated into panic. Jason is innocent. He didn't know anything. He didn't help Tyler. I felt something inside me twist. After all her lies, manipulation, and betrayal, she finally defended me. But only because she was drowning. Where is he now? The younger voice asked. I don't know, she stammered. He blocked me. He hates me. He doesn't care if I live or die. My heart slammed in my chest. I shouldn't have cared. I shouldn't have felt anything. But there it was, some leftover fragment of connection refusing to die. The first man spoke again, voice lowering. Whether you know where Jason is or not doesn't matter. He will surface. People like him always do. Good men think they can fix things. They're predictable. Predictable. Safe. Boring. The insults Ashley once used were suddenly weapons pointed at me by strangers. Now, the man continued, you're coming with us, and if Jason shows himself, we'll finish this cleanly. Ashley choked out a plea. Please don't. Something metallic clicked. Not loud, quiet, efficient, professional. My blood froze. A gun. My fingers closed around the bathroom window latch. It screeched softly as I forced it open. I didn't think. I didn't look back. I slipped through and dropped into the darkness behind the motel. I heard Ashley scream just as my feet hit the ground. Not a scream of pain. A scream of realization. They hadn't found me, but now they knew I was close. And they weren't going to stop. I ran, because suddenly my story wasn't about betrayal anymore. It was about survival. The night air slapped my face as I sprinted behind the motel. Lungs burning, gravel crunching under my shoes. I didn't know where I was going, only that I had to put distance between myself and room 27 before those men realized I'd slipped out. My heart wasn't beating. It was detonating inside my chest, each thump chanting the same message. Run, run, run. I ducked behind a dumpster, trying to breathe quietly. My mind was racing, but not fast enough to outrun the fact that I had just abandoned my wife to criminals. The same wife who betrayed me, stole from me, humiliated me. Yet in that moment, the guilt hit like a sucker punch. Then reality shoved back. Ashley wasn't innocent. She wasn't a victim. She was a liar who dragged me into something I never asked for. If she was scared now, she hadn't earned sympathy. She earned consequences. Still, hearing her scream echoed in my skull. A car door slammed. Then another. Voices. Footsteps. They were moving her. Not hurting her. Not yet. But they weren't letting her stay. Which meant Ashley wasn't the only target. I was next. After a few agonizing minutes, I risked peeking around the dumpster. A black SUV rolled out of the motel parking lot. Windows tinted. Taillights fading into the night. No police sirens. No witnesses. Just silence swallowing everything. I let out a shaky breath and leaned back against the dumpster. What the hell happened to my life? I muttered. 3 days ago, my biggest problem was figuring out how to pay rent after Ashley vaporized our finances. Now criminals wanted answers I didn't have, and my name was apparently a bargaining chip in someone else's nightmare. I needed help, real help. So I did something I never imagined doing at 2:30 in the morning. I drove to the only person who still picked up my calls. Evan Miller, my best friend since high school. The one guy Ashley always sneered at. He's a loser, Jason, why do you hang out with him? Funny thing, Evan never stole my identity, never drained my accounts, never cheated on me with a gym-built dopamine dispenser. He also owned guns. I pulled up beside his house. A single-story place with a porch full of potted plants that looked like they were losing a custody battle with gravity. The light in his office window was still on. The man hadn't slept before 4 a.m. since 2016. I knocked. The door flew open so fast I almost fell inside. Evan stood there shirtless, holding a wrench like a medieval weapon. His hair was a disaster, his glasses crooked, but his eyes snapped wide when he saw me. Jason? You look like you mugged yourself. Get in here. I stepped inside and locked the door behind me. We've got a problem, I said. Evan raised an eyebrow. On a scale from 1 to we need bleach and a lawyer. Where are we? I swallowed. Somewhere past bleach. His expression sharpened. I told him everything. The debt, Ashley disappearing, Tyler, the call, the motel, the men, room 27, the gun, Ashley being taken, my name being involved. Every word tasted unreal. Evan didn't interrupt once. When I finished, he exhaled through his nose like he was releasing steam. Well, he said, scratching his chin, your taste in women has officially evolved from toxic to felony. I glared. Evan. No, listen. He pointed at me with the wrench. This isn't about your failed marriage anymore. This is about survival. These guys aren't bluffing. I know, I said, rubbing my face. What do I do? Evan leaned forward. You don't fight money guys. You outsmart them. First step, we track Tyler. I blinked. Like Ashley suggested? Yeah, except we won't be idiots about it. If he dragged you into this, he's the loose thread. Pull it right, and everything unravels. He pulled out his phone and typed something. You said Tyler talked about equipment, warehouses, fast returns. Evan's fingers flew across the screen. Guys like him always leave digital footprints. Social media, job listings, gym check-ins, dumb motivational posts. I scoffed. I still can't believe she ruined my life for someone who quoted protein shake philosophy. Evan smirked. Some women don't want stable. They want chaos dressed like ambition. My chest tightened. Because he was right. Ashley didn't fall for Tyler. She fell for the illusion of excitement, the fantasy she couldn't create on her own. Evan suddenly froze, eyes widening. Oh, hell, he muttered. Jason, you need to see this. He turned the phone toward me. A live stream. Tyler. Blood on his shirt. Breathing hard. Talking to someone off screen. And then, my name came out of his mouth. Jason Carter knows where it is. Evan stared at me. You're not just collateral, he whispered. You're bait. My stomach dropped. Somewhere out there, my wife's boyfriend had turned me into the missing piece of a puzzle I didn't even know existed. And everyone, Ashley, the men, whoever was watching that live stream, thought I knew something worth killing for. The terrifying part was, I didn't, but they didn't believe that. And soon, someone was going to prove it. I stared at the screen like it was a bomb ticking down. Tyler's face filled the frame. Sweaty, frantic, wild-eyed. He looked nothing like the charming, gym-sculpted golden boy Ashley traded me for. The man in the live stream wasn't a lover. He was prey, and I was apparently the hunter he'd dragged into the woods with him. Evan paused the video, turning toward me with a look I'd never seen on his face. Not fear, not confusion. Calculation. You need to think carefully, he said. If Tyler said your name publicly, those guys aren't the only ones looking for you now. I rubbed my temples. Why would he do that? I don't know anything. Evan leaned back in his chair. That's exactly why it's terrifying. He believes you do. Or he wants someone else to believe it. My mouth went dry. He was right. Tyler didn't mention me by accident. He wasn't panicking blindly. He was playing chess while bleeding out. What if, Evan continued, Tyler stashed something, money, evidence, whatever, and told them you had access to it? Maybe he used your name because it was easy. Maybe he figured you'd panic and lead them right to it. I almost laughed, but it came out broken. So I'm a human breadcrumb. Evan nodded. A breadcrumb with a mortgage, student loans, and a credit score that's now a war crime. I slumped into the chair. My brain felt like it was being rewired against its will. Ashley didn't just ruin my life. She handed my identity to a man who used it like a lottery ticket, and now everyone thought I held the winning numbers. I wanted to scream, punch something, crawl out of my own skin. Instead, I told the truth my pride didn't want to admit. I still feel something when she calls my name, I whispered. Even now, after everything. Evan didn't flinch. He'd witnessed enough of my emotional stupidity to build a museum. That's not love, he said calmly. That's trauma asking for a sequel. His words hit harder than Tyler's betrayal. But here's the upside, he continued, leaning closer. You're not helpless. You didn't choose any of this, but you can choose what happens next. And first things first, we need to track Tyler before someone tracks you. He opened a map on his laptop. Tyler posted from gyms like they were confession booths, Evan said. He tagged locations nonstop. I'll bet he slipped recently. As he searched, I checked the livestream comments. Hundreds of them. People arguing, laughing. The internet treating my life like entertainment. One comment hit me like a punch. Jason Carter's gonna wish he stayed invisible. My pulse spiked. Evan. Found him. Evan interrupted. My gaze snapped to the screen. Evan zoomed into a location tag, posted 3 days ago. A warehouse district near the docks. The same area Tyler once bragged was where real money moves. Everything tightened inside me. My gut whispered one terrifying truth. Tyler never stopped using my life as collateral. Evan grabbed his keys. We go now, before anyone else gets there. I hesitated. What about Ashley? His jaw tightened. Ashley made her choices. Right now, staying alive outranks saving someone who used you as a stepping stone. He wasn't wrong. But the scream she let out in that motel room, the fear in it burned behind my ribs. I'm not saving her, I said. I'm stopping this. Evan studied me for a moment, then nodded. That, he said, sounds like the first smart sentence you've spoken since you said, I do. We stepped outside. The night felt different now, like the world was watching. Evan popped open the trunk. Inside was a metal case. He flipped it open, revealing a handgun. He looked at me. You sure you're ready? I stared at the weapon, at the reflection of a man who didn't recognize himself anymore. No, I said, but I'm done being the guy everyone thinks they can use. Evan handed me the gun. Welcome to your new life, he said. As we drove toward the docks, I realized something chilling. It wasn't Ashley's betrayal that changed me. It was what came after. The moment I stopped wishing she loved me and started wanting answers. Whatever waited in that warehouse wasn't just going to unlock Tyler's secrets. It was going to decide who I became next. And there was no turning back. Evan drove like a man who didn't care if speed limits were government suggestions or ancient myths. Streetlights streaked past the windshield in thin yellow lines, each flash tightening something in my chest. I gripped the gun he'd handed me, my fingers stiff, like I was holding a choice I hadn't agreed to make. The docks weren't just quiet. They were abandoned in a way that made silence feel alive. Rusted shipping containers stood like tombstones. The smell of oil and sea rot clung to everything. It was the kind of place where mistakes didn't echo, they disappeared. Evan killed the engine a block away from the marked warehouse. Rule 1, he whispered, slipping the gun into the back waistband of his jeans. No heroics. We find information, not trouble. Trouble found me 3 days ago, I muttered, stepping out of the car. As we approached the warehouse, I noticed something that sent a chill down my spine. The front door wasn't locked. It was open, not kicked in, not damaged, just inviting. Evan glanced at me. Either we're lucky, or someone wants visitors. We entered. The interior was lit by a few hanging bulbs that buzzed like angry insects. Graffiti covered the walls, crates sat half open, and papers were scattered across the floor. It looked like people left in a hurry, but not because they were scared, because they were done here. Evan scanned the room. Tyler wasn't lying about a big deal. This looks like prep for a shipment. He crouched near a crate, pried it open, empty. All of them were empty. Whatever was here, Evan said. It's gone. My stomach nodded. So Tyler stole something worth dying for. Or worth making you die for, Evan added grimly. Before I could respond, a noise echoed through the warehouse. A metallic clang, followed by hurried footsteps. Evan motioned for silence. We followed the sound to a stairwell leading to an office overlooking the floor. Light leaked from under the door. Evan whispered, "You ready?" "No," I answered truthfully. He smirked. Perfect mindset for not doing something stupid. He swung the door open. Inside was chaos. Papers, maps, receipts, photos, a corkboard littered with names, dates, addresses. But that wasn't what almost knocked me backward. In the center of the room, taped to the wall like a trophy, my driver's license photo. Big, printed, underlined. Below it, in red marker, "Where is he hiding it?" My mouth dried. "Evan." He stepped closer, eyes sharp. "Tyler didn't use your identity for convenience. He made you the fall guy." There were other documents. Fake loan forms with my name, photos of Ashley with Tyler, scribbled notes. "He doesn't even know he has it." Ashley said he's predictable. Jason will lead them to it. My pulse roared in my ears. He doesn't even know he has it? What did I have? Evan rifled through the desk drawers, suddenly freezing. He pulled out a small black notebook. "Jason, this is Tyler's." The pages were filled with numbers, dates, and cryptic notes. But then Evan flipped to a section marked in bold. "Ashley." My wife's name took up an entire page. Under it, "She thinks Jason will help. He always does. He'll never see it coming. If things go bad, blame him." I felt something crack inside me. Something that wasn't going to heal the same way again. Ashley didn't accidentally drag me into this. She planned it piece by piece, using my predictable loyalty like currency. Evan looked at me. "Jason, I think Ashley knew exactly what Tyler was doing." Before I could respond, another noise cut through the silence. This one unmistakable. A gun being cocked behind us. We turned slowly. Standing in the doorway was a man built like a wall, face shadowed, eyes cold enough to kill a heartbeat. He didn't point the gun at Evan. He pointed it directly at me. "Jason Carter," he said, voice calm, as if we were old friends meeting for coffee. "Took us long enough to find you." Evan's hand hovered near his waistband, but the man shook his head. "You move, I shoot him." I swallowed, forcing my voice through fear. "What do you want?" The man smiled small, cruel. "We want what Tyler stole." He stepped closer. "And you're going to give it to us." His smile widened. "Because you already have it." I didn't know what he meant, but from the way he said it, I suddenly wished I did. For a moment the world froze. Not metaphorically, literally. The air thickened, my hearing warped, and every instinct in me screamed the same thing. "You're finally out of time." The man stepped closer, gun steady, eyes locked on mine like he was reading a confession written on my forehead. "I don't have anything," I said, hands raised. "Whatever Tyler stole, I don't know where it is." He tilted his head, amused, not convinced. "That's the problem. You don't need to know. You already have it." Evan shifted slightly beside me, voice cold and surgical. "You're wasting your time. If we had anything, we wouldn't be standing here like idiots." The man chuckled, a sound without humor. "Your friend talks too much." He flicked his fingers. Another figure entered, same build, same dead eyes. Backup. 2 guns. 1 exit. I swallowed, my pulse trying to escape my veins. "Just tell me what you think I have." He stepped so close I could see the individual pores in his skin. "A passcode, a phrase, a location, something Tyler gave you." Whether you understood it or not doesn't matter. My mind spun. He never gave me anything. The man smirked. Are you sure? He pulled a photo from his pocket and tossed it onto a crate beside us. There I was, in a bar I didn't remember being in. Tyler shaking my hand, Ashley beside him, smiling like she just won a prize. I looked dazed, tired, drunk. Evan's jaw clenched. They set you up. The man nodded. He told us you knew the location. You were his insurance. If he went missing, we'd come to you. My voice cracked. So this was the plan? He drags me into this mess. And everyone assumes I know something I don't. No, the man whispered. The plan was for Ashley to make you talk. I slid under my skin. Ashley. She wasn't collateral. She was the delivery system. My mouth went dry. So where is she now? He shrugged. Alive. For now. But patience has limits. And you're running out of chances. He took another step. You're going to help us. Or she dies first. My fists clenched not from love, but from fury. For years, Ashley manipulated me, drained me, lied to me. And even now, even when hell opened under her feet, she'd still manage to make me part of her escape plan. Evan's voice sliced through my spiral. You kidnapped her, used him, and expect cooperation? He scoffed. You two are brain dead. Both guns aimed at Evan instantly. The leader's voice was calm, but colder. He dies first. My body moved without permission. Stop, I shouted. I'll help. Just let him go. Evan shot me a look. Not fear, but disbelief. You're not bargaining with these idiots, he hissed. Jason, I'm not letting someone else get dragged into this because of her. I snapped back. Evan's expression shifted, from frustration to something like understanding. Then he laughed quietly, shaking his head. You're not saving her, he said. You're saving the last decent part of yourself. I didn't answer. Couldn't. The man lowered his gun an inch, just enough to let oxygen return to the room. That's better, he said. Let's start simple. Tyler left something, some clue. Think. Anywhere he talked to you, called you, messaged you. My mind raced. I saw flashes. Tyler at my house. Tyler joking about leaving breadcrumbs for destiny. Tyler laughing at Ashley's expense. Tyler telling me one thing I dismissed as nonsense at the time. Jason, you're the safest vault I've ever seen. You don't even know what's inside you. Suddenly, the memory hit harder. He handed me something that day. A USB drive. Small. Black. Ordinary. I tossed it into my desk drawer, assuming it belonged to Ashley. My voice cracked. I think I know where it is. The man smiled like a wolf. Good. You're going to take us there. Evan stepped forward. Over my dead body. The man didn't blink. If that's the route you want. He raised the gun. But before he could fire, a blast of shattered glass exploded behind him. A bullet tore through the air, hitting the second man square in the chest. He dropped immediately. The leader spun toward the window. Evan lunged, tackling him. The gun clattered across the floor. My ears rang. My heart exploded. Someone outside shouted, Jason Carter, move! I didn't recognize the voice. I didn't know if they were here to save me or finish what Tyler started. Either way, the story wasn't spiraling anymore. It was detonating. The gunshot still echoed in my skull when Evan yelled, Move, Jason! His voice ripped me out of paralysis. The leader wrestled beneath Evan's weight, snarling like a trapped animal. But Evan held him down with the strength of someone who wasn't fighting for victory. He was fighting for me. I dove for the gun on the floor, fingers trembling as cold metal met my skin. Another bullet shattered the window, showering the room in glittering shards. Outside, someone sprinted toward the warehouse, boots slamming pavement with military rhythm. The leader twisted, elbowing Evan in the ribs. Evan's grip faltered for half a second, long enough for the man to break free. He charged at me with a fury powered by desperation. His hand grabbed my collar, slamming me against a crate so hard the air jumped out of my lungs. You think you're clever? He hissed. You're nothing. A pawn who doesn't know the board exists. For the first time in my life, something inside me snapped. Not the weak part, not the wounded part, the part that finally recognized its limits. No, I rasped, tightening my grip on the gun. I'm done being a pawn. I pulled the trigger. The shot wasn't loud. It was final. The man's eyes widened. Not with anger, not with shock, but with recognition, as if he finally saw someone he underestimated become someone he should have feared. He fell, the weight of his body dragging my past with him. Silence swallowed the room. Heavy footsteps entered from the hall. I raised the gun out of instinct, but a man in a tactical vest swung into view, weapon lowered. "Jason Carter?" he asked, voice sharp, authoritative. "Federal Agent Brooks. You're coming with us. Now. Federal. Not criminal." My knees almost gave out. Evan stepped beside me, panting. "A little late for an invitation, don't you think?" Brooks ignored the sarcasm. His eyes locked onto me like I was a piece of evidence instead of a person. "We've been tracking Tyler for months. He stole encrypted data tied to offshore accounts. He used your identity to launder funds. He wasn't running because he was guilty. He was running because he was hunted. By criminals," I said. Brooks shook his head. "Criminals were just the first wave." Evan muttered, "Great. We're in a video game with DLC." Brooks continued, "Tyler left something with you. A USB drive, correct?" My stomach twisted. The puzzle pieces slammed into place with terrifying symmetry. "That drive," Brooks added, "contains access keys for $43 million. $43 million. My debt wasn't an accident. My name wasn't random. I was the vault, the safest vault Tyler had ever seen." My hands shook as I whispered, "Ashley knew." Brooks nodded once. "She knew enough to be dangerous, not enough to be useful. She's in protective custody now." Evan blinked. "Protective custody?" "She tried to destroy his life." Brooks stared at me, voice razor calm. "Sometimes the people who ruin us are still necessary. She led Tyler to you. She led us to Tyler. Without her, we wouldn't be here." The world tilted. Ashley had betrayed me, abused me, humiliated me, and somehow, she was still a piece of the machine that kept turning. "So what now?" I asked, exhausted, hollow. Brooks stepped closer. "Now you make a choice. You can hand over the drive, testify, and walk away. Your debt disappears. Your name clears. You disappear into a new life. Or, Evan snapped. "Or you run," Brooks said. "And you'll spend the rest of your life being hunted by people who don't forget." The decision tasted bitter but inevitable. "I'm not running anymore," I said. Brooks nodded. "Then let's end this." Epilogue, Jason's reflection. People think betrayal breaks you. It doesn't. It rebuilds you brutally, painfully, piece by jagged piece. Ashley didn't just leave me with debt. She left me with a mirror I was too scared to look into. She forced me to confront who I was. A man so terrified of losing someone that he forgot to keep himself. I used to think loyalty was love. Turns out, boundaries are love, and loyalty without them is a leash. If someone watching this is where I was, blind, hopeful, begging for crumbs from someone who feeds strangers full meals, listen carefully. Don't wait for betrayal to teach you your worth. Don't let someone use your heart as a hiding place for their lies. And never, ever mistake chaos for passion. Safe isn't boring. Safe is freedom. And for the first time in my life, I'm finally free.